Greetings everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Fuko and today we are looking again at the Drakara by Blue Zuko. This is the third video that I'm doing about the Drakara because there is a lot of changes with the animal over the last few months. So today we are talking about the different variants of the Drakara because there are quite a few new ones and they are also a little bit different from each other. So first of all though, I want to show you what is new about the actual taming. Not that much has changed actually. You have now Drakara Kibble, which was before the minced fish and meats. They just switched the description. It's a level 30 unlock, and you also had the ether spray, which you had to use. It's like a bug repellent to make the Drakara neutral towards you. That's no longer ether spray. That is now called the the instinct nullifier. It is now called the Instinct Nullifier. So it's still the exact same thing. You just have to use the Instinct Nullifier on yourself. You get like 10 minutes, I believe, where the Drakaras are neutral towards you. Then you have to clear the immediate facility of the Drakara so it doesn't get aggroed on anything. Then you press E on the Drakara. That initiates the taming process. It's like the first feed on a passive tame basically, and then you can mount the Drakara, and every time the Drakara starts to like buckle and tries to throw you off, you have to press E to feed it again. So the Drakara is calmed down basically, and that's all there is that was changed in the taming. It's mainly just the two resources that you need and their descriptions, but the taming is still the complete same. So now we have a look at the different, let me get that stuff out of the way, it's a little bit annoying. Now we have a look at the different Drakara species. And this is actually the fun part, because they have different abilities as well, which is very nice. First of all, the newest addition to the family, which is a so-called Pygmy Drakara. They are spawning on Ragnarok in the Highlands. For other maps you have to check yourself, sadly, because I'm only playing Ragnarok right now, so I wouldn't know. They are a basic shoulder mount. In the wild they are passive towards you. You can knock them out like a Dimorphodon and tame them with mutton and prime meat with normal food. They don't need the Drakara kibble. And then you can just put them onto your shoulder. They are still very early in development. They have just been added, well, like 1 or 2 weeks ago, I believe. So the animation is still not quite there yet. They look very stiff and very weird on your shoulder still, but they are basically just a Dimorphodon. They don't have any special abilities yet, because it's too early for that one. Next one we have the Dwarf Drakara. And they spawn basically everywhere. The normal Drakaras and the Bloodfang Drakaras do. All these three all spawn at the same places all over the maps. There's no special like places where you have to look for them. They basically spawn anywhere in the grasslands, in the swamps, on the mountains. I think even in Redwood Forest. Only not in the winter biome, because that's where the last one is spawning. So, the Dwarf Drakara is the smallest out of the rideable ones. Noticeably smaller wingspan and tail length than its brethren. And you can see that also in its weight distribution, because he has a very low weight. It's basically the equivalent, the cooler equivalent of a vanilla pteranodon. They have tons of stamina. They will probably never run out of it as long as you're in the sky. So they are perfect to get from point A to point B. They have normal bite attack on the left mouse button and the triple bite attack on the right mouse button. The normal bite attack applies bleed effect, like any other Drakara, they all have the bleed effect. And the triple right mouse button removes armor from a target. So they have a bleed effect and an armor remover, which makes them extremely powerful combat mounts. If you press the C button, they do this little hind legs grab animation. This is called the charge bite, and it does more damage than the normal attack. But this one is pretty useless on the Dwarf Drakara, in my opinion. The most damage you deal is the triple attack and the bleed you apply with the normal attack. So what makes these ones special in comparison to the other ones? First, they have slightly less damage scaling, but higher stamina scaling than all the other Drakaras. So they deal slightly less damage, but you don't feel it that much because you can always stay in the air basically. And their normal bite attack, their left mouse button attack, applies a dilo blind, which slows enemies by about 80% for like 5 seconds. So these ones are a game changer for PvP. Definitely, because you blind your target for multiple seconds. They are basically slowed in place, they cannot run away. And you can stack bleed and armor pen on them as long as they are stunned, which is great for PvP. Next we have the normal Drakara. The all-rounder basically. It has less stamina. I don't look at this one because I leveled it in stamina actually, so it has more. But this one has a little bit less stamina, but has more damage. It's basically the all-rounder with a little bit more, with much more weight scaling. 1700 weight is pretty hefty for a mid-sized flyer like this. And they are basically just like the small Dwarf Drakara. They have the normal bite ability, the triple bite ability, they do the same thing, just that the normal bite attack does not blind enemies. They don't have the dilo spit. And they also have a different C attack animation. Other than the Dwarf Drakara, who does only the little grab with the hind legs, their C attack button does also propel them slightly to the front. So it's like a Pteranodon barrel roll, just a little bit weaker. It doesn't do that much of a speed boost. But it definitely helps to get quicker from point A to point B. Oh, they made it. Never mind. I forgot to show you on the other two, but all of these have a taunt as long as they are on the ground. You can press the C button while you are on the ground, and they do a little taunt that taunts creatures that are around them, but this taunt seems to be still a little bit buggy because it doesn't work half of the time, and there is a long cooldown on this ability of like 60 seconds. Next we have the beauty winner of the Drakaras, which is called the Bloodfang Drakara. These are kind of rare, relatively rare. Like, in most cases, in like I would say like 70 to 80% of cases, you have either the normal Drakara spawning or the Dwarf Drakara. These spawn relatively rare when they are spawned, and they are one of the two biggest Drakara species. They have increased melee damage, so they are stronger in melee than the normal Drakaras, but they have slightly reduced stamina scaling. You don't see it, again, you don't see it right here because they just have very high base stamina. If you level stamina, they get less stamina from it. So, these guys, as I said before, if you press C while they're on the ground, they do this little roar attack, which looks very nice. And this one basically taunts creatures, or is supposed to taunt creatures that are close by. By the way, this is the run animation of all the Drakaras while they're on the ground. Looks like a bird that's about to lift off. Very nice animation in my opinion. So this one is the most combat oriented of the Drakaras. They have amazing damage scaling. They get a lot of damage. Again, normal bite attack, just like the normal Drakara. The triple bite attack on the right mouse button. And this is their sea flying animation. They have the same one as of right now as the Dwarf Drakara. But they have, in my opinion, the best design out of all of them. Most Drakaras usually spawn with the standard white, black and bluish tones, as you can see, fitting to the Avatar franchise. Only the Bloodfang Drakara spawns with these amazing looking dark reddish and orange hues, which is amazing looking. And I think they look the most badass because they are big, they are mean. They have these... Whoop. Can you please let me go? Thank you. They have these long like horns on their head, much longer than their brethren. They have this super long tail with the autumn leaf kind of shape at the very end. They are my favorite ones, definitely. And last but not least, we have the Arctic Drakara, which only spawns in the winter biomes of every map. They were the biggest ones before the latest update, but BlueZuko nerfed them a little bit down. They had the size of a wyvern almost. And to be honest, I hope they revert that update and make them bigger again, because they are a beast of burden. Their scaling in weight is absolutely crazy. Look at this. I'm showing you right now, this is a level 140 or level 150 that I tamed in the wild. This is not bred. This is a tame. And it gets like 150 to 200. Yeah, about 160, 170 weight with every update. Look at this. 11,000 weight. These are the beasts of burdens in the Drakara bunch, definitely. Everything else would be too much of a potential waste. Everything else about them is pretty much the same as the other Drakaras. Bite, triple bite, and the C button is actually a barrel roll. Yeah, only these guys become the exclusive barrel roll animation with the slight boost forward, just like a Pteranodon, which is crazy and ironic because these are not a Pteranodon at all. These are more like a Quetzal on steroids, in my opinion. These have reduced stamina. This is as a scaling. That's why these ones are not on like 4,000 stamina like their brethren that I showed before. These come in like 2,000 to 2,600 stamina and run out of stamina pretty quickly, but for their amazing weight capabilities, I take these ones over a Quetzal any day, because they are not only able to get a lot of stuff into their inventory, they are also very fast, which is common for all the Drakaras. So that was all of the different Drakaras in a little showcase video. We have the Pygmy Drakara, standard shoulder mount. We have the Dwarf Drakara with its special dilo, blind and slow. We have the all you can eat, the jack of all trades, that was the right word. Normal Drakara, we have the increased damage and combat capabilities of the Bloodfang Drakara, and we have the giant, enormous weight capabilities of the big and hopefully bigger in the future Arctic Drakara. I hope you liked this video. That was everything there was about the Drakara species for now, and I hope to see you again in the future video. My name is Fuko. See you next time. Goodbye.